What do you think about Will Smith? I don't know if you've heard about this new story that came out. Like, Will Smith is getting cucked by his wife or whatever she is again. Have you
I
heard
mean,
that?
I heard the first one that came out where she was like talked about a what her affair, what does she call it, entanglement or something like that. What the latest one is that she says she doesn't sleep with him in bed or something like that, or I don't know what
Yes,
the yeah.
Will is like really bad at sex or something like that,
Oh,
and she
she
does.
said that.
She basically says something like, he can't read her mind, and that's why the sex is bad, and blah blah blah. She was like having another talk, and like, what do you think about that? Because you did say that sex view of women view sex differently, right? Like they view it as
Right.
validation. So that's why I always tell my guys that they can use sex as a weapon,
Right.
because in relationships, actually, like a husband and wife, usually the wife will like say, "Oh, we won't have sex anymore," blah blah blah. But I think it's far more effective and far more devastating if you tell a woman, for example, "I'm not gonna have sex with you," or you just withdraw your attention or something like that, because it's gonna destroy their ego. And sex is so important, I think, because Will Smith was not giving her the D well enough, that she's crazy now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I would say about that, well, I mean, there's a couple of things to, so the first one that I think is benefit to men is that you have to be good at this, right? Most most women are their experience, sexual experience with men is that it sucks. It's bad, right? Because there's a big different, big scale of being good versus not. Whereas, for women there's not as big of a range, right? Women don't have as much that of control of the situation. So so I think that's certainly important that men should realize this, because to one degree, like it's almost like Will's misfortunes are our gains, right? Because she's talking about what she's actually thinking, right? In a free form, and most women aren't going to say those things in a relationship, but she's saying them. So as a man, like, listening to that, you should listen to what she's saying, because that's probably a situation that you might be in, right? So this idea of that, like, he's not reading her mind, he's not very good at sex. Okay, a lot of women are thinking this, they're just not saying it. So that's puts you on high alert as a man, like how valuable it is to become good at that.
But
The second, mhm.
or sorry, you want to say something? Something
Oh
second?
yeah, I was gonna say the second thing about it, which is the real issue, is that what is he doing? Like, I mean, he's basically cucked himself, like you said, like just the fact that he's allowing her to speak and to say these things. That, again, someone would say, oh, he can't stop her from saying, but he can exit stage left,
Exactly.
right? If I'm in a relationship with a woman and she says some kind of shit like that, about, I mean, especially publicly, that's it. I'm not going to stand around, like, you just exit, like, you're going to stay in that situation when you've been publicly embarrassed, disrespected publicly. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. It's like it's a huge degree of disrespect. So, I mean, he's basically shown himself to be, a weak beta male, which is kind of funny, because I mean, in all honesty, like, when you look at, well, it was funny. I was just listening to a Halloween mix or whatever, and one of Will Smith's old songs came on there, Fresh Prince, and you're like, you look back and you look at his history, and it was like he was kind of this goofy fucker anyway, right? Like, from Fresh
Yeah.
Prince and Bel, he wasn't like this alpha man. Like, we kind of painted him into this picture, and like Hollywood kind of tried to, but he was always been this beta goofy kind of fucker. Like, he never was like the strong masculine man, right? Even, Men in Black, maybe, like, whatever, and whatever, he like kind of learned how to act a little bit like it, but he was still not. So we're kind of judging him by a standard that he didn't ever really live up to anyway. So,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate, but he's become the laughing stock because of that, because he's allowing the situation to happen. But it also goes, it's a good example just to show that, like, having money and fame and status, that does not make you masculine. It doesn't. It's not. It's not that. And even in that, because a lot of guys, MGTOW guys, will look at that and they'll say, "Oh, see." even if you're this high value man, you have a lot of money, you have a lot of status, right? You're good looking, the women will still cheat on you. Women will still disrespect you. Like there's no escape. There's nothing that you can do to beat hypergamy. But that's bullshit, because you could literally be a trailer park trash guy living in a trailer and have women respect you more based on who you are, with no status, with no money, uh, with minimal looks, just because you don't tolerate shit and you actually are masculine and act masculine, right? That's the thing about it. That's what you can really gain from this, is that there's no amount of bullshit that you can do. You can make as much money as you want, you can be as famous as you want, that will never make up for actually being a fucking man. That's what I take from it.
Yeah, it's so true, man. That's also one of the reasons why I tell guys it's so important to learn how to be a pimp. You don't have to be a full-fledged pimp, but at least you have to know the underlying psychology behind it. Because basically, these guys, they get rich, and
Right.
that's how they get right.
Right.
But pimp basically uses women to get rich. Now,
Right.
woman can make you money in different ways. She doesn't have to basically make you money. You put her hands or whatever. She can save you time, right? And that way you become more wealthy because she, let's say, she helps you with the cleaning the house and everything while you do your stuff. So I think you should have it in order in a way. So I think the problem of these guys, many of these guys, rich and famous guys, were like, what the fuck? You're rich and famous. How the fuck did you end up like this? It's because they used their wealth to get their women. They
Right.
didn't first they weren't first able to get what, like, I remember and to be honest, now, like, I get less women because I'm on my mission. Like right
Mhm.
now I'm literally in 3 weeks I'll get my bachelor's in mathematics and computer science. And literally, like, I'm not even talking to girls right now because I am full. Like every hour of the day is basically full. I wake up, go to class, you know, then I have this interview with you, go train, go eat, go work in the business, go to sleep. So when I'm improving the most, I'm getting the least amount of women. And when I was broke and just not doing so much back then, I was able to dedicate so much time to getting women, and I was getting laid a lot. So I've seen this inverse correlation with, like, when you're more broke, you get more women, or you have the chance to get more women. And if you're like rich, I mean, if you're like on the grind, you're not. So my point is, these guys, they use the wealth to get the women, right? And you should learn how to get women if you are broke and basically have nothing going on for yourself. I was getting women even back then when I didn't have my own place. I would just convince women. I would just convince these girls, and they were older than me, like 24. I was like 18. Just be at their place, sleep over. If you have these skills, even being broke, you'll be good if you're wealthy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a really good point. I mean, what you invest in is what you value, right? So you look at, again, like these celebrities that use money or status to purchase women, they've made the investment. So that's why they consider what they have spent their resources on to be valuable. Whereas successful men who have women investing in them, in helping them to build their success, right? Those women are invested in those men and consider them to be valuable, right? Whereas, in the inverse, where a guy has used his wealth, or, to get women, that woman didn't invest in anything. She just got something. She just got money. She just got whatever, this guy, the fame, the side effects of that. So she hasn't made an investment, and therefore she considers him to be of no value, right? You only really consider the valuable what you've invested into.